Much like Star Wars The Acolyte, we saw with this Doctor Who Black Queer replacement season that the press was all in on this at the beginning. They were out there saying this is the best Doctor Who ever. It's Russell T Davies' most amazing work yet. He's unbridled. He's unfiltered. Oh my God, it's great. But now, just like The Acolyte, we're seeing that the cracks in their media gauntlet armor are starting to show up. And they're starting to realize that, gosh, this was actually terrible. The writing was bad. It didn't go anywhere. We were right. Are we going to get an apology from all these media people calling us racists and bigots and all that over the fact that they just made a bad show and then tried to market it with like this cynical nonsense claiming everybody's racist if they don't watch it? Of course we're not. The media is still on Russell T Davies' side, but this is a huge, huge, huge admission of guilt by the mainstream media from the British press from what we're seeing here. Now, this is we're going to get into a couple of these. The British press is disappointed with the season-ending episode of Doctor Who. We've got some other news on the Doctor Who front, and also Russell T Davies himself admits there was a complete narrative breakdown in the series. Wow. This is a big day. All right, my name's John Delarose, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you guys for being here. If Doctor Who fans don't want you, or if Doctor Who creators don't want you as fans, that is, I do. I think you're great. I think Doctor Who fans are the best, and I really appreciate you guys picking up our science fiction. This is my Arishan War trilogy, of which I'm writing a sort of sequel series right now, and I would love for you to check this out on Amazon. It's available in ebook, print, and audio, all 3 books. And I'll have that in the description below for you. Thanks for being wonderful science fiction readers. And please hit the like and subscribe button while you're here. All right. So let's check out this one from the Evening Standard, the first deal. Doctor Who Empire of Death on BBC One review. After all that, this is the reveal we get. Yeah, I mean, they hyped up the Ruby Sunday deal to an incredible amount. They started putting in the wordplay like the bad wolf in the episodes. They did the whole 73 yards thing. And Russell T Davies tried to tie it all together, and he failed spectacularly. And then at the end of it, he put this message that just an ordinary lady. Nope, you didn't have a mom who was special at all. You're not special. Nobody's special. We're all in this together. Very nihilistic and anti-heroic climax, of course, which still never really explained anything because Ruby is out there like literally creating snow in space as she stands there. Like, how did she do that? It's still not explained. Doesn't make any sense. But Russell T Davies likes to have things not make sense. It's a complete narrative breakdown, after all. Now, he's only going to refer to a small portion of this, but honestly, it's a greater indication of what's happening with the entire show when you get into this narrative breakdown element. But let's get to more reviews first. The Independent says the same thing. After all the hype and hoopla, the finale is a big letdown. Yeah, of course it was. It was a big attempt to tie way too much together. Everything had to be some sort of grand mystery. It had to tie into Tom Baker's Doctor Who. It had to tie into William Hartnell. It had to tie into, of course, all the new Who stuff. And it was just nonsense. The problem is you don't have a heroic doctor anymore. The guy doesn't even act like the doctor. He just stands there and cries while Ruby Sunday kind of lectures him on how to be better. And that's the world that Russell T Davies wants us to be in these days. So none of this stuff worked out at all during the entire season. And here you are. He wanted the blockbuster to reflect the positive trend among young people. To express their emotions in a healthy way. And that's all this is about. It's about Gatwa's doctor standing around and crying and screeching and being afraid and showing his anxiety, hoping that would relate to young people. Gosh. But again, it just created something where this guy's not a hero. He was clearly not a hero, and it was a bastardization of the Doctor, and that's why the fans hated it and didn't watch it. And a couple of them, of course, they have to virtue signal at the same time that this is the best Doctor ever. Even though, again, his portrayal of the Doctor just does not fit the Doctor whatsoever. They removed all of the masculine energy from him. They removed all of the heroism from him. And that's in the writing also, but also in the way that Gatwa just cowers in corners and prances around like a homosexual. through the entire show. It's the same deal. Radiant charm, steam stealing tears, and steamy kisses. Ncuti Gatwa is the new golden age of Doctor Who. Oh, please clap, everybody. Now remember, while the episodes are terrible, and this is how they're going to still virtue signal. Terrible episode, terrible writing. That's the white guy's fault. The black guy, he is still stunning and brave and more amazing than anybody else. This is how they're going to lie all the way in order to still create their narrative, because it can't possibly be his fault. Can't possibly be his fault. So this woman here at The Guardian has been simping for Gatwa this entire time, pushing this agenda, and it is totally agenda-ridden. Of course it is. This is something, after being introduced in the anniversary special, formed of a bi-generation, which is also a wordplay. Russell T. Davies tried to put that in as bi-generation, like bisexual generation. That saw him emerge out of Tenet. Everything's like that in Doctor. The wordplay stuff's so annoying. It really is. Saw him emerge out of Tenet's torso wearing little more than a shirt and a grin. He then took the reins in charming Christmas special that paired him up with his companion Ruby Sunday. Well, yes, these episodes existed. Right? They existed. Much as in Tennant's celebrated tenure, yeah, he did not play this as well as David Tennant did by any stretch of the imagination. The series is confident enough in its leading man's presence to sometimes just use him sparingly. Well, they had to, because if that was one of the best rated episodes of the season, 73 yards was one of the only ones that was all right, because he wasn't in it. That's what made it great. Like, it was very glaringly obvious what the casting problem was in this by doing that episode. It made it so much better to just not have him in it. Bubble and Dot, he was largely absent, and again, his largely absence made that good until the end, where it revealed it was just a colony of white people who hated black people, and that's what this was about. I mean, gosh, it is clearly his fault that this is a train wreck, of course, and Russell T. Davies too. Now, the ratings for the 8th episode have come in now, which now has hit the lowest of all time for Doctor Who. And so, all these shills who are going, oh, the overnight ratings don't tell the whole story. They do. And people tuned out, and they didn't come in. There was not some magical group watching this on iPlayer or a week later or something like that made this all work. No, people tuned out of this because it was so obnoxious. The storytelling was so bad, and Ncuti Gatwa annoyed the crap out of people. So this was an interview from Russell T. Davies saying the complete narrative collapse in the Doctor Who finale. It pains me, he says. Now he's going to try to paint this as a good thing and he's a cheeky thing, but there literally was a complete narrative collapse. The entire episode was a narrative collapse that made absolutely no sense. So just after Melanie Bush is revealed to be in Sutek's latest victim, the TARDIS does something it's never done before, and it was something it will never do again. Yeah, because, again, the power levels of the Doctor, of the aliens, of the TARDIS, of whatever, it shifts just depending on whatever Russell T. Davies needs for that moment. There's no consistency anymore. And this is what he's highlighting. It's really weird that he's highlighting this in an interview. Bring me the Time Lord and the child of their precious secret. In response, cloaked Harriet Arbinger, another dumb wordplay, pulls a lever of the console of the TARDIS that's currently parked in the unit tower. As a result of her lever pull, dead Mel, Ruby, and the Doctor are instantly transported across time in London. This is so insulting to fans. So they were outside of the TARDIS, and yet the TARDIS moved them without moving itself. And again, this is just something that you have to have rules in science fiction, and you have to establish those rules. They don't have to necessarily make sense in our reality, but they do have to make sense internally. And when you just violate rules internally and do this kind of thing, and you just use it like a Star Trek transporter because it's a plot convenience, you are just being an absolutely lazy writer turning in a first draft, screwing with the fans, and just showing that you don't care whatsoever. And yes, that's what Russell T. Davies did here. It was a complete narrative collapse, like he said. They always just kind of tacitly admit this stuff, even when they're trying to promote their own products. They always admit that what they're doing is wrong, and they know it, and they don't care. Or they do care, and they are doing it intentionally just to try to screw with you as the fans because they resent you having power over a show like this. And your power is going to be shown soon, because with these low ratings, I don't think this is going to be continuing like they think it's going to continue. They've already filmed the second season, but we'll see what happens from there. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my book, Stars Entwined, and its sequels on Amazon. We'll be back soon.